All right, so here we are. So webinar on how to set up a Midbrain Academy, right? So it's been more than 100 workshops that I conducted so far. It's been more than 1,500 people that I could train on, right? So Midbrain Activation, as I said, is very close to my heart. But first, let's understand why is that you should be interested to start the Midbrain Activation Academy. You know, for different people, there could be a different answers or different reasons. For me, I would share with you. I mean, the first is I feel it's a very highly profitable venture. So when I say it's a highly profitable venture, what does it primarily means? Which means like, you know, this is not the product of 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 rupees. It is a product worth rupees 10,000 plus minimum, which is being sold in the market. Normally, the price is 15,000 rupees. So it's not, the target audience is little different. It's not that anybody and everybody can take it. But idea is key, by conducting a 2 days workshop, it can help you to earn the profitability of 1 lakh rupees. That's the first part of it. And when I say profitability means profitability, so it's very good for the people who are into the job currently and who feel that there would have been something that I could have conducted just on Saturday, Sunday. And even if they conduct one workshop on one Saturday, Sunday, or 2 days live and couple of other things onto the follow-up session onto the Zoom, I think that works phenomenally well for these people. And even for the people who have the smaller kids, right? And you have you really want a flexibility of time, but you can spare in those 2 days, those 2 days, like Saturday, Sunday, one Saturday, Sunday in the month, it is again a good thing for you, right? Second, it's a highly in demand. When you talk about high in demand, how do you reach there? If you really go for Google Trend is something, whatever that you type onto the Google, I mean, there's a trend that sits in. And the Google tells you the number of people who are looking forward for this kind of a thing. So when you type Midbrain Activation on the Google Trend, you'll realize that the kind of results which are coming in are huge. It is almost, I mean, a week back, I was just looking at it. It was 4,000 people every month search for Midbrain Activation, right? So that's the kind of a requirement, the demand which is there. And people, after the Shark Tank, there was some kind of a demo and there are a lot of people who got inquisitive about that as well, right? No competition. There's no competition. I would say there's a competition, but practically there's no competition because the number of people who are conducting these workshops are very less. And the number of people who require these workshops are little more. It's not that the people are fairly looking for it, but yeah, at the same time, this is one thing. If you're able to interact and help to understand the science behind it to the customer, they are game for it and they'll just take it, right? Workshops are fun, and that is the most important for me. I remain, I always enjoy it with the kids, and Midbrain is though for kids as well as for the adults, but yeah, with an age bracket of 5 to 15 years for which the midbrains are activated or did it. I mean, it is always a fun. So you always remain young and you don't feel that, you're doing any kind of a workshop. For you, it's a fun, you're playing with them. Just need bit confidence. What you require is a component of little confidence. Because while you conduct a workshop, whether it's an online or an offline, in both the cases, you need to be confident. You need to be facing the children, you need to be facing the parents, and that's extremely important, right? Just need bit confidence offers great work-life balance. So when I say great work-life balance, primarily, what does it mean? It's definitely, like majority of the time, we talk about a work-life balance, but do we really get the work-life balance? This is something which offers you work-life balance. See, you conduct a workshop for 2 days and that's it. But at the same time, to create a batch, you have to work, right? But that offers a lot of flexibility to you that what is the time that you want to do a, webinar with the people to whom you have to convince them to join in this workshop for the children. So this is what it is. Online and offline, both formats. So today, what I'm going to be showing you is an online as well as the offline format. Though Midbrain Activation is more considered to be an offline workshop and it gets better results, like Blindfold Abilities and all this stuff are being developed better on 90, 98, 99% to an extent with the offline workshop. But yes, even online workshops are very effective and that gives a demonstrable results as well, right? Zero product manufacturing cost. You don't really have to create a product every time. It's like once you have all the resources for once, the only cost that will go off is the marketing cost, and rest everything is your profit. That's the best part. No revenue sharing because it's gonna be your brand. No revenue sharing. You don't have to sell very hard to the people, right? It's like inspiring the people to join in. Respectful business and no brand sharing. So this is the total thing that we have been talking about. It's your own brand that by which you're going to do it, right? Now, within this workshop, learn step-by-step process to set up a profitable Midbrain Activation Academy. So one is setting up the academy and one is setting up a profitable academy. There's a difference. And that's what exactly I'm gonna show you. How is that? What happens was when we entered into it, we were the tiniest and the very smallest player in the market. And nobody knew us for that matter. But while other players were really giant and they had the offices at the very posh places, and they had spent lakhs of rupees, in fact crores of rupees to set up the thing. They used to give the franchise for 5 lakh rupees, 7 lakh rupees. That was the time I came from, and we were the smallest player. And over a period of time we realized, we started back to back workshop we started conducting, and most of the people got won by this. I'll also share why it happened, where we could grow and most of the people could not really sustain this. But what is Midbrain Activity is the most important thing. Let's start from the very basic question. I think that's the question that each one of you has got it in mind. So it's a process by which you optimize the brain for better efficiency and productivity. So ultimately, at the end of it, when we talk in terms of a science, I will be talking about the science little in detail. But midbrain activation is all about optimizing the brain power. See, it's like if you want to travel from Delhi to any place, or you want to travel from any place to any place, A to B place, you require a powerful vehicle. Similarly, for us to travel through a life, we require a powerful brain. So that brain is basically, we never work anything, or we don't do any kind of a exercise or any kind of a therapy to enhance that brain power. See, whatever comes into our mind, we just live the life the way we live. And there are ways and means through which you can optimize the brain power. See, brain is made up of neurons, and neurons can be ignited. The maximum circuits which are ignited and where the electricity passes on those circuits, what we call it a brain gym, is primarily going to help you to ignite your brain, and you'll be able to use the high power of a brain. So that is what it is. We'll be talking about it in future. In other slides. So my journey to online, in fact, my journey not to online, so that's a copycat. So my journey to academy, this Midbrain Academy is something that I'll be talking about it. So how did it started is the need, where the need arises. In 2011, something happened where, I had to carry that journey, along with my parents' blessings, and along with them, I had to raise my kids single-handedly. So and they call me, today's a Mother's Day, so they call me mother. See, they call me mother because I've actually played both the roles for them. But anyway, that's an emotional part of it. But 2011, I had to take the charge, and that's when I started my journey and continued the journey. And into the corporate world, I realized a couple of people would have heard this story who are already a part of it, but I'm still sharing for the new people. So during that point of time in the corporate world, I wasn't, obviously the pressures are too high and you don't get time, right? And I realized that, after almost more than 2 decades that I spent in the corporate world, I realized if I continue to be into the corporate world, I will not be able to give in the time to my kids. And I realized their scores and their academic performances, their value systems had started coming down because I was not able to give in a time. And when this happened, I got worried, and I thought this is the time I'll really have to take a call. And then I started looking for a solution, and one solution. Then I was just trying to understand what is that which can create a difference. So one definitely was something that cannot be compromised upon was my time to be given to them. That's number one. Number two that I realized was that ultimately I was just wondering that why different kids are behaving in a different fashion, or why different kids has got a different learning. Somebody, if you give a same chapter to every child, one is able to actually grasp it very fast, and the other person is able to take little more longer time. So it was primarily that I realized it's a 3R formula, and that is called read, retain, and recall. The people who are able to, some people have got great speed to read. Once they read the information that comes to them, then they're able to retain that information. For how long are you going to retain the information? Finally, when you require, when there's a time to recall that information, do you struggle to reach that information where it is stored, or you're able to recall that information? These 3 R's were the most important thing, and that was the most deciding factor. And also further, when I actually like got deeper into it, I realized the people who are toppers, the people who are who get into competition examinations are the one who primarily spend most time to basically acquire these skills. And after when they acquire these skills permanently, these skills help them to further acquire any kind of a curriculum, and therefore the speed of learning for them is very fast. So ultimately it's the speed of learning. But then what happens is, when you try to teach them with the different technique, like we have a program called learning techniques, study skills and all the stuff, that is there. But that is something that is to be created and explained to the person, and the person will have to apply that techniques to primarily get this 3R thing. But herein what we are going to talk about it, how would it happen naturally to the people? For example, if it has to happen, it has to happen naturally. How is that it can happen naturally, right? So I was just looking at something, where the child doesn't have to do anything, but still the power of his brain can be performed better, and he can use his optimum power of your brain. That was an idea, right? So with this vision, I started working upon it and started looking for it, and definitely spoke to a lot of people, a lot of this thing, googling around and speaking to people who were the rocks in this industry, and they were the leaders in this industry. Fortunately, I had those connections, so I could speak to psychologists, psychiatrists, school principals, a lot of other people. But then I realized there's a big gap, and there's nothing, no such thing which is available. And that's wherein I discovered one thing that is called the brain optimization. Brain optimization thing was something that I discovered, and I was being introduced to midbrain activation. So when midbrain activation happened, and when it came to India, it was being shown in a very different fashion, because the result of a midbrain activation where the kids being blindfold can read storybook. And most of us, in fact, couple of you would agree with me that our logical mind doesn't agree to it. How is that possible that child being blindfold can read the storybook? Not possible, right? So this is what exactly is the thing by which came. I said, people are fooling. It's not possible that you can, being blindfold, you can read the storybook. And though I was being sold to that concept, but my logical mind could not buy an idea. I said, no, this is not the thing, and this is not the way. So what I did was I slept over that concept, and I continued doing my research. And that's when the birth of learning techniques like memory techniques, speed reading, goal setting, and a lot of other things that I was working upon. And there was a beautiful program that was cultivated. And I slept over that concept. But then what happened was, I was in Singapore. My brother, he's an architect. He's based out of Singapore. So we went for a vacation along with the kids. And there was one such midbrain activation course that was happening. So out of the curiosity, I said, let's like enroll them. And his 2 kids and my 2 kids, we got 4 kids enrolled there. So once that happens, and when they came out 2 days later, I mean, they were doing telepathy good enough, and like they were doing the blindfold reading and all this stuff. But then purpose was not that. The purpose was, which was being promised to us, was brain optimization, better concentration, better memory, better, the way emotional intelligence like happen, the way the behavioral pattern changes. So all those things were being promised to us. But instantly, that was not really measurable and demonstrable. The only immediate results which were demonstrable were the blindfold ability and a telepathy. But then when I came back, after vacation, and we came back, and then the school started. After about 1.5, 2 months time, when these results started appearing, it was like teachers had a different remarks for my kids at the same time. They started performing pretty well. So one was the midbrain activation that brought better concentration, better memory. And I could myself see that, because that part of time I used to teach my kids. And at the same time, the teachers had a better this thing. I could see that visible change, which is intangible in nature, but I could see that change coming into them. When that happened, and their scores came in for 2 reasons. One, midbrain activation, one is the learning skills that I taught them, you know, these kids who were at the bottom 5 in the class have actually ranked in the top 5, and that is what exactly happened. So when this happened, this was something which really raised my eyebrow. I said, "Is this science? Is this science really there, and can this really, like, the way it has helped my child, for that matter, can it help the other people also?" So this raised my eyebrows, and that is where I thought, like, along with the learning skills that I have, which I've been teaching, let me also introduce gift to the society, and that is activating the midbrain. And that was the point of time I decided, when it has impacted my own kids, it has to impact the kids throughout. Why should the children be ignored? So with this thing, the mind trees was though born earlier, but it was like later registered. We registered that in 2015, but prior to that, we were actually working for a long time. So as a 2000, give me a moment. Somebody, mic is- All right, so okay, so those who know me, that's fine. Those who know me, but still those people who do not know me, a very brief introduction. On 28th July 2015, Mindtrees was incorporated. We have already trained 10,000 plus. We've conducted so many seminars in school, so many webinars, and plus at the same time, independent, workshops that we've conducted. So, 1,000 plus. And Mama, your mics are all right. So 1,000 plus trusted business partners, we already have it. There are a couple of you who are already a part of us, and I'm sure your journey would have been good. And I'll take a feedback from you at the end of it. And 10x growth during the lockdown. I mean, that is what we could really experience, where the people were cribbing that my business is slow. 40 plus products and programs that we have it, and now gradually I'm introducing one by one the programs. Like we have DMIT, we have Midbrain Activation for Kids, we have DMIT Midbrain Activation for adult, we have learning skills, we have psychometric tests, career counseling, and a lot of other products as well. So we have already conducted 100 plus midbrain activation workshops. 1,500 participants is benefited, and 200 kids has been the doctor's kids. So this gives me enough confidence to conduct this. So this is the confidence by which I'm standing in front of you. And you already know about my certifications, yeah, but yeah, I did midbrain activation. That is something that I took it from Singapore. And I'm NLP. I'm basically trained in NLP, psychometric. I'm into the speed reading, memory techniques, and I'm an international business coach. So briefly, I mean, this is what it is. Now, I got a partner who's called Yashika Jalrotra. Few of you might know her also. She conducts NLP workshop, law of attraction workshops. She's got a 21-day program, which is like a very famous. He's already trained 10,000 plus participants in that. And like the real challenges that we face related to health, relationship, and money, she caters to that, and a very, very successful program. Apart from that, she's the bestseller or selling author for one of the books as well. Featured in Forbes, and she's also a co-founder of mindtrees.com, right? So Midbrain Activation Academy is something that we are here for. So let's understand, little about it. Just a glimpse. I wanted to actually, we have like so many thousand plus videos and so many pictures for that matter. But yeah, I just wanted to give you a glimpse of it here. So today we are here with a vision, and the vision is primarily I want 500 people to be trained on midbrain activation, and they in turn can actually empower, like 1,50,000 people. So this is the calculation that I've done, and like I really want to have 500 people for to be trained for this particular thing. The people who are able to resonate with this particular vision, right? Now, that's the time when it's your turn, and let's talk about why your hair is primarily definitely for there are a lot of people who may like the fun workshop and like the work to be something which is fun, but at the same time everybody needs a profit, and this is something which gives you profit, right? Okay, so how do you get the profits if you really want to get the profits? The best way is to add 10 times of the value of the money that you charge, and that is the principle that I always think one should work upon. So how are we going to actually like get profitable? How's that we're going to get the midbrain? We have to be into the process of activating the midbrain of every human being. In fact, every child and every adult is a customer. Every human being is a customer. That's a market. So that large the market that you have it. So let's talk about what is midbrain. So when you talk about a midbrain, there's a forebrain, there's a midbrain, and there's a hindbrain. If you really see this particular thing, the three brains. So forebrain is the cortex that we have it. Then we have the midbrain. I mean, it's somewhere in the between. That is a part of a brain stem. If you really look at it, that's the part. And there's a hindbrain. So midbrain basically works as a relay center between left and right brain, and it also basically is like is in between forebrain and a hindbrain, right? I'll be talking about that a little more. So what is the function of a midbrain? For a very long time, the midbrain was ignored, and people felt just like one of the normal parts, and not many people knew about it. But then Dr. Makoto Shichida in Japan, the science has come from Japan. This music therapy has come from Japan. So Dr. Makoto Shichida, he researched on brain for a very long time, and he realized that the brain has got tremendous power. The brain has got tremendous power. And this small midbrain, he researched on brain for 40 years, and he realized that midbrain, if activated, which is also called the pineal gland, in the scientific and medical term, you call it mesophilon, or people also call it interbrain. But the function of it is primarily the very first is it controls, it's a portion of central nervous system associated with vision, hearing, motor control, sleep, and wake cycle. So sleep and wake, for example, when we sleep, we are not controlling our heartbeats, right? It's automatically happening. So that's all being controlled by the midbrain. So midbrain or a pineal gland, or closely when somebody talks about pituitary gland, that's what exactly we are talking about. It remains active till the age of 5 years into the children, and thereafter it becomes inactive. A lot of people say, Rajul, why does it get inactivated? It gets inactivated for the reason because we become logical. When we actually go to the school and we are being logically nurtured, that we are being taught that this is called two, and the two looks like a duck, but like we don't give that leverage to the children. Like, so ultimately what happens is initially whatever used to come is the information used to come to the brain, that is midbrain, and out of the 8 different parts of the brain that we have it, the midbrain used to decide that which is the brain which will perform this task, and it used to send the information to that particular brain. But over a period of time, when this continuously started happening, the midbrain was being bypassed, and that's wherein it becomes inactive. So in the during the age of 5, it is active. The children midbrain is also active, but after the 5 years of age, it generally becomes inactive, right? So that's the thing. Now coming to, before like you talk about this business opportunity, before you become a midbrain activation trainer, before you really take up this business opportunity, I want you to put yourself into the customer's suit and understand, if at all you have the kids, or even your kids are grown or does not have a matter, take back to the times where your kids were between 5 to 15 years. If you already have, great. If you don't have, still it's okay. What's important for you to understand is, like, put yourself into customer suit and wear that cap and then see whether this is making sense for you. Because only if that makes sense for you, you can sell it to the other people. Otherwise, you cannot sell it to the other people, right? So let's understand the midbrain activation. So midbrain activation is a technique of optimizing the function of a middle brain, which is a bridge between left and right brain. So as I said, we have a left brain and we have a right brain, and there's a bridge between that. So once the midbrain is activated, there's a flow of information which is much higher than the current flow. If the more neuron cells are activated, there's a more current between the left and right brain. So what happened? The exchange of information between the two brains will be much larger. That's number one. Number two, having the bridge activated allows the retrieval of information, as I said. Third, midbrain activation allows the brain to function as a whole rather than only utilizing one part of the brain. Now, I would like to understand from each one of you, are most of us left brain activated or right brain? Let me understand from each one of you. Are most of us left brain activated or right?
Left brain.
Left.
Right?
Left brain.
Yes, because left brain is what? It's a very logical kind of a brain, right? Yeah. And right brain is like a creative brain. And when you have to take a decision any point of time in the life, should you be taking a decision from left brain or the right brain?
Left brain.
Left brain.
Who will say left?
Sendil Kumar.
All right, okay. Left brain, right? And
I think it should be both.
you're right, absolutely. Great. It is both the brains. See, ultimately what happened, we have a left brain and we have a right brain. The left controls the right part, we all know. Right controls the left part, we all know. While we are technically, while we're into this studies and everything, so ultimately what are we training? We are training our left brain. How many times we are being taught a right brain is all about creativity. It's about out of the box thinking. It's about, it's about dreaming. It's about visual imagination, right? We are talking about all that thing. But we never empower that. For that, we have to force. We say do meditation. We say visualize. We say do affirmations, all that stuff. Law of attraction. Everything is part of this thing. And if you actually like club both the brains, and then take a decision, that's when you hit the jackpot. See, left brain is logical. It only tells you this is to be done, but how it is to be done is a function of a right brain. You can tell the brain that I have to go to Mumbai from Delhi, but how do you go by train or plane or this thing or whatever? How creatively, where you can stop, you can have fun, whatever. It's the right brain. So what I'm trying to say, this is the point. So when you have to get the best out of your optimizing the brain, it has to be left plus right. Both the brains has to be bring together, and therefore the people who take a decision with both the brains, they are very, very successful in life, right? So now coming to the next point, it also brings out the strength and characteristics, creativity, memory, application skills, self-confidence, and ability to concentrate when you activate. So this is also called the right brain activation, and this doesn't work on your left brain. That this is actually, this music will activate your right brain, right? It's called the right brain activation. Now, effect of midbrain activation, as I was talking about, the problem was read, retain, and recall. These are three problems. Now, how many senses do we have, and what is the purpose of a sense? The senses se hum kya karte hain? We are able to take whatever comes to a mind, whatever the information that a brain consumes, it comes from the five senses, right? And what are these five senses? We have taste, we have eyes, we have hearing, then we have that smell, and we have that touch, right? These are the five senses that we have it, right? Do we have five senses or do we have more senses? Anybody?
I think there are more. Maybe people talk about six, but I think I've heard about like people having, people proposing that there are more actually, something like intuition when all of these, that's how they talk about, but it's not just sixth. I think I've heard people talk about like eighth, ninth, and all. I never understood those, but that's what I've heard.
So primarily as of now, the science has registered only five senses. Sixth sense is there, which people do feel, and I strongly feel, and I'm sure most of you would also feel, sometimes you get the feeling, yaar ye nahi karna tha, ye ho gaya. I remember a week back or 10 days back, what happened was like I was driving a car. On my left hand side, there is a mobile kept. And prior to that day, like I was getting, it's been 3.5 years now, my mobile is still like working so very well. And and then what happened was like, I was just thinking I should transfer the data. I have not really safeguarded the data. And then what happened was that mobile was being like taken away by one of the person who was passing by. So anyway, so I mean, so what I'm trying to say, that's called intuitive power. And each one of us has got some kind of an intuitive power. It actually gives you an alarm that this is going to happen. Do you agree? So this happens. So we have five senses. We have sixth sense also, which is not scientifically proved, but it is there. But science has almost agreed that, yeah, there's a sixth sense. And there's a seventh sense that is called the nonsense, right? So that's on the lighter side. So these are the five senses that we have in the information that comes to us through us. And as an NLP coach, I can also tell you there's 60,000 thoughts that comes into your mind on a daily basis, right? And now the thing is, the more the information that comes to you, the more you can utilize. So effect of midbrain is when the midbrain is activated, the current is, there more onto these midbrain, the brain. So what will happen is your five senses become super powerful. And also, I would like to tell you the five senses become super powerful. So, what happened when you actually close the eyes of a child, right? Or anybody for that matter. And when you say ki do the blindfold ability, the children are able to demonstrate and they're able to recognize the color. Why does it happen? The science behind it is the eyes consume 40% of the energy. So once the eyes are closed, what happens is that 40% energy gets distributed into the other organs. And therefore, that gets power to primarily replace the function of an eye. And that's where it happens. If you would have seen, uh, we have been gifted, like by God, that all of us, like if our one sense actually, like, is off, the other senses take the charge of that particular sense. And therefore, that's the science why this is going to actually, like, do that. So that's first part of it. Second part is the memory. Memory is very important. Our left brain is like a RAM and right brain is like a hard disk. So what happens when the information goes to us, it first goes to RAM and then goes to the hard disk, right? So if the connection between the brains, like if the energy, if like, there's a lot of interaction which is happening between the two parts of the brain, then it goes to the right and settles. Therefore, the information which goes to the RAM and finally goes to hard disk, it settles there. So therefore, the memory improves, and that's the reason the memory improves and the midbrain is activated, right? Third region is like recall that reflects this. So what happens is since like once the midbrain is activated, a lot of interaction which is happening between the two brains, and reflexes started working pretty fast because electricity started flowing very fast. So reflexes started working very fast. So even the recall is very important. So what happens when the midbrain is activated? Read, retain, and recall. This comes very naturally to the child, where the child has not done anything. The child has not applied any technique. What has happened is the frequencies are being supplied to the brain where the neuron connections are created or recreated in such a fashion by those music frequency where it primarily, like, all these three functions get this thing. There are hundreds of other benefits that comes, but those are not something that I would like to talk about it. Majorly, when the midbrain is activated, so let's understand the midbrain activation process. Midbrain, the music therapy, which is 10 to 12 hertz. There's a music therapy of 10 to 12 hertz of the frequency, which is called alpha frequency. When that gets into your brain, and once that gets into your brain, so your neuron connection are established in such a fashion where, like it is primarily the interaction between the two part of the brain is activated, your five senses become super powerful, and therefore, as a result, you get, this higher memory, emotional stability, like better concentration, focus, and a lot of other factors. But that's the basic science behind it, right? I hope you are able to get that. And let me see, I've not seen the chat for a long. Kinesthetic sense, you're right. Sixth sense. So Ravi, yeah, thanks. Okay, so now coming to the next part of it is like, what are the kind of a benefits that you get, right? Efficiency, because ultimately now, like things are happening. So every participant is able to demonstrate the different level of incremental efficiency. So does every person gets the same results? No. Every child gets the different results. But I have seen, if you want to, like put it in terms of a percentage, I've seen minimum on an average 15% of the results that you get it. Do you get the results in academics or any other thing? Actually, whatever that you put your energy in, the results will start coming in that. It's not always there that it will get the results in academic. If you are putting your energy into academic, because what this has done is it has actually, given you a power. Now, whatever that you apply your power, you'll get the results. Be it sports, be it dance, or be it, for that matter, you're talking about the academics, right? But yeah, it does help because you are able to concentrate better, memorize better, you're able to do the things in a lesser time, and therefore in the same amount of time with what you used to study, it will actually get you a better result, right? Concentration, your creativity, like your out of the box thinking, your self-confidence, recollection ability, that is very important. You're able to actually recall the information as in when you require. When you have an examination, you don't struggle to recall the information. These are visible changes that comes to you. Reading, writing speed, definitely, because your reflexes works better, so that also gets affected positively. Academic improvement is the emotional stability, then blindfold ability is definitely there, right? So these are the kind of benefits which are demonstrated through the midbrain activation, right? Okay. Midbrain is activated through a 9-step. It's a 9-step process. So when you talk about a workshop, so first question comes in, is that only the music therapy? Is that due to the music you activate the midbrain? The answer is no. Even there are people who can activate the midbrain without the music, right? And even we can do it for that matter, but then music does one thing. Music is primarily helping you to reach that frequency, and it fasten up the whole process, right? It 90%, I would say, it plays a very important role. So therefore, I feel the music therapy is extremely important, but then it's not the cumulative, it's a cumulative effect of all the things. And therefore, it's very important that it has to have a structured, format to activate the midbrain. When you conduct the workshop for 20 people or 15 people in a group, you need to have a structured format through which you can activate the midbrain, right? So what are this 9-step process? First, the brain gym. Like if you really go to the Google and go to YouTube, you'll find their brain gym exercise like this, a lot of points are there. And so you do activities which are related to brain gym, brain exercises are there. Then something, there are brain puzzles which are there, which activates it. So the complete format is designed in such a fashion where brain gym is there, eye gym is there. It's like, doing it like this. And then there are stoop tests are there, and different kind of fun games are there, basically, which works very good for the eye gym. Hand gym is there. It's like, different kind of an exercise. It's like, there are a lot of different exercise which are there. So these are brain gym, eye gym, hand gym. Then there are games, there are dance numbers. Then finally, all that stuff. And the purpose is primarily to make the people get exhausted. Once the people get exhausted, then what happens is thereafter we actually make them sleep. Give them good food. Give me a minute. Somebody has opened the Sahib. Okay. So what happens is, like, once the midbrain is activated, so the purpose is that we have to exhaust the people, and once they exhaust the people, their energies are consumed, physical and mental energy is consumed, and thereafter we give them good food and put them to that music, and then we give them, ask them to lie down onto the mattresses and make them kind of a sleep, or if not sleep, they can go to the trance and they can go to the semi-sleep mood, and we play this particular music, and this comes from two different speakers. एक में 325 आता है, एक में 315 आता है, एंड टोटल जो बेनिफिट मिलते हैं 10 जो होता है उसका वो फ्रीक्वेंसी होता है. So 10 hertz की frequency that actually activates the midbrain. It just takes couple of seconds for the midbrain to get activated. It just takes couple of seconds to get midbrain activated. The only thing is we play that music in 2 days time for about 3 hours, for the reason because we do not know when is that the midbrain will get activated. So it's a specific frequency of a midbrain which activates the brain. So idea is that if you want to make the child sleep or put them to trance, they have a lot of energy. So first you have to consume a lot of energy. Once you're able to consume this energy, then the midbrain is activated, right? I would like to show you some demo also on that.
The students of the Max workshop are presenting a play, Changal Ki Bhutia Party. कौन सा कलर है? और येलो कलर है। मैम दिस सन।
Yes, it is sun. Very good.
Okay.
मैं डबल आइसक्रीम ठीक है डबल आइसक्रीम डबल स्टिक
Very good.
Yes, it is cake.
Tell me the candle colors on the cake. What are the colors of the candle?
Yes, it is white.
Question.
Okay.
First, where does ठीक है?
Yes, it's very good.
मैं तोड़ के वर्ड बता सकती
हाँ, तोड़ के
हूँ।
Yes.
Nana, think, concentrate and tell me.
Concentrate करो, connect करो उसके brain से.
Green. She's right.
Yeah? Green. So, yes, very good. Good job.
Now she.
Very good, friend.
Wow. Excellent.
Very good.
So, for example, my little daughter, she's already a world record holder in trekking, etc., and a very chirpy, very naughty child, extremely doing very well in studies also. In her case, the biggest change that I have seen after the workshop is that she's become far more wiser. She's far more at peace with herself. Her ability to articulate complex thoughts and feelings, her ability and even inclination to take part in debates with the adults has gone to the next level. Her school teachers are now giving me feedback that her contribution at the school, her leadership qualities are now really visible. As far as my elder daughter is concerned, Manasangini, she has been an environment activist. She's been a Mother Nature lover all through. In her also, I've seen that the demeanor has become far more wiser, confident, at peace with herself. Her consciousness for her general personality, her health has gone up. Now she brings in some very high level wisdom into the discussions in the class and suddenly takes all the discourse to the next level. My son Vasan, in him the change that I have seen is the highest. He was a little shy boy. He's a sportsman through and through, does very well in multiple sports. He's a world record holder, mountaineer. He every year sets new challenges for himself. So we are sure that he's going to pretty soon do the highest peaks in the world. But amidst all this, he was a very introverted person. He would not take part in discussions. In the class, normally teachers used to say that his attention levels were deficient. Sometimes he would even distract the fellow students. But everybody saw that this boy had potential. After the midbrain activation, I've seen that Vasangyan has become far more participative in the class. He's openly asking questions. At home, he's articulating his feelings much more freely. He's looking much more confident the way he walks, the way he talks. So these are the real deeper effects that we have seen of this workshop. Of course, all the demonstrable effects like looking at colors blindfolded and reading are there. But these are more important for us.
Right. So this is just like, so ultimately when we are talking about a workshop format like this structure, so it's just a lot of fun that first happens. Then we give them the good food, then put them to music, and then the blindfold abilities happen. And then finally there's a certification on the day two. And then we conduct a parenting seminar where parenting seminar is not primarily to basically educate them about the parenting, but yeah, it is primarily to demonstrate the measurable results. They see their kids being blindfold, like doing that, sensing the colors and all, reading books, doing telepathy. And at the same time on day two, they're able to understand the memory techniques and all the stuff that we teach them. So any which way, so it's a very interesting format. It's a fun format. And towards the end of it, you would have seen in the video that kids along with the parents, dance onto the thing, and we give them certificate, chocolates, and it's just a complete fun thing, right? So that's a format. So now if you really look at it, if your calendar looks like this, you have to conduct, you want to conduct one workshop a month, you can do that. You want to conduct two workshops a month, you can do that. You can start from one workshop a month. First month you can do only one workshop, and second month, if you're a full-timer into it, you can do two workshops, right? So let's say if the calendar is like this, that 9th and 10th, you require to conduct the workshop on Saturday, Sunday, from morning 10 o'clock to or 9:30 till about 6 o'clock. That's the way you have to be there in the premises. And on day, and then like say 9th, 10th ko aapne kiya, then 23rd, 24th. Two workshops you can comfortably conduct. And 15 days are good enough for you to create one batch, right? Now, the people who are not able to attend, and then there's a follow-up session also that you have to give. So normally the format of the workshop is that you require 2 days, 2 working days, that's not working days, 2 full day, and thereafter for 3 consecutive weeks you have to give a follow-up session. Initially we used to do this only, and we used to hire a place for follow-up session also. But later on, after then we realized today the best thing that works is the hybrid mode. Conduct a 2-day live workshop onto the premises, like a banquet hall or a clubhouse. Clubhouses are my favorite. This thing, if you get a good clubhouse, like with a good ambience and all this stuff. So that's what exactly you get it. And then 2 days you conduct the live workshop there, and thereafter the 3 or follow-up session that you have to do every week for the next 3 consecutive weeks, which could be on Saturday or Sunday or Friday evening, whatever, that you can conduct on Zoom also. So the best part is now that every time you don't have to hire a place. It's just for 2 days you hire a place, conduct the workshop, and rest of the things can be conducted onto the Zoom platform. So if you really look at it, like 9th or 10th ko aapne workshop ki, so 16th ka this week is free with you. You can conduct a 3-hour Zoom platform pe, you can do the follow-up. Then 23rd, 24th ko again you have done it. So yahan pe 22nd, that is Friday ko, you can conduct the follow-up session, right? And then again, this week is free, you can conduct the follow-up session on 30th. So for the people who conducted the workshop on 9th and 10th, they get first follow-up on 16th, second follow-up on 22nd, and third follow-up on 30th. So that is the structure of a workshop that you have to do it. And thereafter also, let's say if people want more follow-up, when you're conducting on a Zoom for anybody, for any batch, you can always invite them. There's no problems about it, right? Because some people takes a little longer time, some people takes a lesser time. Some people who require a longer time to get the results, you are not losing anything. So you are anyway conducting a follow-up session on a Zoom. Even if they join in, there's no harm for that matter. It's always a customer delight that you get it, right? Okay. Now coming to the age group. What is the age group that you can cater to? So there are two different music frequencies which are there. One is for the adult and one is for the kids. The music frequencies is one of the music frequency works well for 5 to 15 years. And the music frequency which is for adult works well with 15 and above. So we have conducted majority of the workshops for the kids, but then there were a lot of parents who were demanding. I said, fine. So we created a batch for the parents whose kids have done it, right? And there were 12 people, participants. We did it in Delhi. There was a Siddhartha hotel, which is a 5-star hotel. We conducted over there. Out of 12 people on day 2, and we did not give them the follow-up session. We just conducted 2 days workshop, but definitely they cannot dance and all this stuff. So we taught them some NLP technique, some memory technique, some wheel of life and all that stuff. We just did some meaningful like interaction, because you don't have to put them to dance. If you ask them to sleep, they'll sleep anyway because they always sleep sleepy. We as an adult would not have the same amount of energy with which the child will have it. So therefore, I mean, that's the way it primarily works with us, right? So adult may, out of 12 people, 10 people were able to demonstrate the blindfold ability where they were at least able to recognize the colors. Out of 5 times, they were 4 times they were correct to tell the colors. This is the color. So this is what exactly is the thing. So it is for two different age group, but Erin, right now we are talking about for the kids. Okay. Now training is 2 full day, as I said, and 3 follow-up session for 3 hours. Batch size 10 to 20 ka banta hai, 10 to 20 people. Beyond 20 people, it's not difficult. It's difficult. Then you require more volunteers because for every 5 to 6 people, you require one person. So if it's a batch of 10 to 12 people, 2 people can manage. If it's a batch of more than that, then you require 3 people. So that is the calculation. So every 5 people to 6 people, you require one volunteer. And minimum is you require 2 volunteers, even if they're 5 people. You can't conduct a batch for lesser than 8 people. There's no energy because it's a game of a complete energy. So generally 10 people should be the minimum, I suggest. 8 mein chal jata hai, but it's not something very interesting. 10 is the minimum, but normally what I've seen is people are able to comfortably make a batch of 15 people, right? Now, workshop venue, 1000 square feet ka aapko, you would require a hall and you will have to take it for 2 p.m., 9 p.m. to 6 p.m. Generally, you have to only provide the vegetable lunch because it's something to do with the energy. So you can't provide them the non-veg during these 2 days, right? That's the suggestion. And snacks is something. So what happens, it starts from the day one where people come and they have already paid you the advance of, let's say if the workshop price is 15,000 rupees you're keeping. So 5,000 rupees they would have already paid you online, and 10,000 rupees they give you on the day when they come before the workshop starts. So you've taken 15,000. Just giving an example, it could be any amount that you want to charge is your choice. But I'm just giving an example how we used to conduct, right? So we used to take 5,000 advance and maybe 10,000 rupees used to charge them later. And when they come, they'll fill up the registration form. There are disclaimers also and all the stuff. And thereafter, the parents will go and then you conduct the workshop. The moment they come, you'll have to provide them the welcome drinks to the parents as well as the kids. Lunch होगा afternoon में, and towards lunch का 1 घंटा करीब 45 minutes हम रखते हैं, and towards the evening there would be a snacks at about 4 o'clock. You give them the some good snacks, like children may prefer Maggie or whatever it is, or maybe sometime pizza, small thing. So whatever we give it. So we do it for 2 days, and we have a contract with the hotel guy or the banquet guy or the clubhouse. They provide. Right. So this is the thing. Romana, I think your mic is getting on time and again. I would request you to please keep an eye on that, please. So this is what it is, and this is the thing this is the format through which happens. Then you require a good venue because it should be aesthetic enough. If there's a green area, they can play around. If there's a winter time, that's always suggested. During the summer, definitely not. But yeah, ambience is everything that you require. And you get all that starting from 700. In a smaller town, you can get it for 600 rupees also. In the cities like Delhi, Gurgaon, Mumbai, Bangalore, and the other places, you can get it for 1,000. It can go even up to 1,200 rupees. But normally, I've seen decent accommodation along with lunch and this thing, you get it for about 850 rupees, right? You just have to do that thing once, So resources that you require, good speaker system, एक अच्छा speaker JBL का हो, Bose का हो तो best है, you'll require that. Projector you get it for rent for 700 rupees per day, and if you have it good, initially we used to take it on rent and then later on we bought it our own. Screen they supply simultaneously. You would require a kit जिसमें उसका blindfold होगा, kits होगी, crayon होगा, beads होगी, coloring sheets होगी, because they do the blindfold coloring also, playing cards and all this stuff. So everything will be there as a kit, which will be giving them. So this is the resources that you require. Manpower, I've already talked about it. You require 2 manpower and 1 for every 5 participants. That is what it is, right? Okay. Now coming to what does your participant get? उसको क्या मिलता है? सबसे पहले उसको 2 day की full day live workshop मिलती है जिसमें lunch, evening snacks सब कुछ मिलता है. Lot of friends they make. and it's a lot of fun. Like, they thoroughly enjoyed that workshop. They don't want to go home. It's like that. And 3 follow-up sessions on Zoom for 3 hours each. And if they require extra, they get that as well. Vegetable lunch and snacks for 2 days. I mean, like, obviously, parent seminar and demo on the day 2. Midbrain is activated. The best part is their life learning, the like capacity of the brain. Your brain is optimized for lifetime, and that is something. I mean, there's no value to it. What is the value that you consider when the concentration, focus, memory, everything gets improved for the child? I mean, what is the value that you keep it for it? To me, it's invaluable thing, right? It's intangible, but it's invaluable. Blindfold abilities. See, a lot of people say, Rachel, what is the purpose of a blindfold? See, blindfold abilities is only a testimonial evidence that the midbrain is activated. If I keep your kids for 2 days and the second day there's nothing, is the same thing, how would you come to know if the midbrain of the child is activated? When we showcase the blindfold abilities, you get an idea that, yeah, there's some changes which has happened, and therefore the child being blindfold can recognize colors and numbers today. Or there's certain kids who are even able to do telepathy. It's like, almost everybody by day 2 is able to do it. And by follow-up session, third follow-up session, almost 100% people do it. I am yet, training 1,500 kids. It's just 2 to 3 kids. I remember I was not able to help them do the blindfold ability. But other than that, the benefits comes, even if the blindfold abilities are not demonstrated, the benefits comes to them. So this is an idea, right? And mnemonics training and all this stuff, certificate at the end of it, we give them the certificate. So that's what exactly. So you are getting everything, 2 day, full day, this thing, follow-up session, lunch, evening stack, parenting seminar, midbrain is activated, blindfold abilities, kit aapko mil rahi hai, mnemonic training, and finally certificate. I mean, feel good factor. Certificate is nothing but a feel good factor. And what do you think should be the price for this particular thing? I mean, don't think of the price that I have quoted. I want, these are the pictures that we are talking about. There are places where the kids even swim, but you have to be really cautious about it. So these are certificates that we gave. So how much should be the participation fee? If it's your own child and if you have to conduct, and these are the kind of benefits now. 18,000 to 20,000 rupees, Lakshmi says. That's really nice, Lakshmi. And Lakshmi, you've done it, right? That's good. Even 20,000. Yes, absolutely. See, there are a lot of people who feel, I want everybody to write down the price. Let me understand what is in your mind. Don't think and don't have your, mind blocks right now. Don't think whether you can spend that money or not. Think of what is the price that you feel if you tell them the science behind it and ask them, define, do you want to take it? What is the price that people will be ready to pay? 15,000 says Sushil, Arvind says 15, okay, Bala says 15, Arvind says 20, right? Okay, Philip says 15, 10 to 12, Romana says, and Lakshmi says this thing, 20,000, 18,000, great. Now let me tell you, we conducted the workshop, which were 50,000 Surabhi says, great. That's absolutely, see, idea is, when we talk about asking for the money from the parent, anybody, the price barrier is in our mind. It's not with the customer. Customer has the ability to buy 10 lakh rupees product and even won't spend 500 rupees onto you. It is your confidence and your product delivery what's important, right? You can very well conduct, just take a hall of Dharamshala and conduct a workshop, but you won't be able to give them that delight. People won't feel like, so idea is that you need to give them the ambience. You need to actually activate their midbrain. You need to give them a lot of fun. It has to be fun, right? And we used to charge, honestly speaking, 15,000. And later on, when the numbers started more, we used to charge 14,000, 13,000 plus 900. So 14,000 rupees हम लोग charge करते थे. और उसपे हमने, I was talking about it that a lot of people just did it like 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 workshops and they vanished. But we continually keep on making, like batches after batches. There were people who became desperate seller because they have to create a batch. Let's understand the part of it, which is also I want to bring it to your point to your this thing. Notice, See, DMIT, learning skill, anything for that matter. You got one kid, you can do it. Hai na? DMIT, you got one kid, you've taken a fingerprint, you can do it. But here you require a batch. If you don't have 10 people and 7 people have paid the money, you will not be able to conduct the batch. Either you'll have to have more people coming in or you'll have to return back the money. So important is that every 15 days, or initially if you're conducting one batch in 1 month, in 1 month's time, you need to have 15 people. You need to have 15 people. और वो जो 15 लोग जो 15,000 रुपए देने वाले, they are going to give you 15,000 rupees. So not everybody is able to do it, right? I don't know whether you have the confidence or not, but it is possible, because let's understand the thing. When the person gives, he's convinced, would not mind giving 15,000 also. But when the person is not convinced, would not even spare 1,000 rupees. That's my calculation. The people who dropped down the price to 7,000, and there were people who, even I remember, they were doing it for 5,000. They vanished. They vanished, and people used to come, hey, see, this guy is doing it for 5,000, you're giving it for 15,000. I said there's a difference, and probably it will not possible for me to demonstrate or realize. And they realized that the people who were charging lesser, they could not actually deliver quality, and they vanished, because selling cheap will not allow you to sustain in the market. Never sell cheap. When people talk price, talk value. That's important. How much value are you going to give to the people is important, not the price. So when people talk price, I said, don't talk price. Let's talk about the value that you can deliver. If I give you this opportunity and genuinely train you, and I said, fine, brother, now let's do this. And let's do this one by one. Like, where what will happen is कि you would only have to master one thing, to sell at a price of 15,000. एक ही चीज आपको वो करना है, इतनी अच्छी स्क्रिप्ट बनानी है, उसका इतना अच्छा कमांड करना है, that over the phone, see, at that point of time when I used to conduct that, let me share with you friends, there was not even a single, like हमारा landing pages नहीं होता था. I used to just generate the lead from the Facebook campaign. I used to get the leads for very expensive. Even today's this thing, it's very expensive. I used to get the lead for 200 rupees. Today you get the lead for 50 rupees. But it used to be the quality lead. Let's say if I concentrate a specific area, let's say I say Gurgaon if I'm conducting. So I'm just concentrating on 10 kilometer from the venue. Only it should go to the 10 kilometer area. So people can travel 10 kilometer, I know. So there's no problem. So I used to get a very expensive lead, and I used to put a lot of filters to ensure that it's a quality people to whom I'm going, right? Similarly, when you conduct a workshop at one place, you need to ensure that they're quality people. Lead might be very costly, but then I was able to convert 20% of it. So even if I get the inquiry for 200 rupees, and if I get 10 people, I spend 2,000 rupees. Out of those 10 people, if I convert one person who pays me 15,000 rupees, my marketing expense is 2,000 rupees per person, and 13,000 rupees is, maybe 2,000 rupees will go to the expenses, further expenses. 10 to 11,000, forget about 1,000 rupees, 10,000 rupees in profit. That is the thing. So that's the way to look at it. Now, coming to venue cost per participant would be venue cost 850 rupees for 2 days, and 300 rupees the kit that you give them, blindfold and all this stuff. That is the kit. That will cost you 2,000 rupees, right? Now, revenue and profit. Now, this is the most important part, and you have to just put a little focus on that to understand the mathematical calculation, how you make profits out of it, right? So मैं 15,000 नहीं ले रहा हूँ. I'm just taking 10,000 rupees, right? Because I want you to be very comfortable. So I've taken 2 scenarios. एक scenario is scenario number 1, 10,000 rupees. Scenario number 2, you say कि I don't have confidence right now. Let me graduate to build up the confidence. I say 7,000 rupees. Is it fair? 7,000 में तो बेच सकते हैं. अगर नहीं बेच सकते हैं, this is not for you. Let me tell you. So maybe one batch you can conduct for 7, and next batch you can conduct for 10, and then you automatically will jump to conduct the batches for 15,000. Let me tell you, when you go to Google, you find there are a lot of people who conduct it, but practically nobody is doing it. Practically there are very less people who are doing it. So what you have to master, only 2 things. You have to master an art of selling one customer out of 10. When you interact with 10 people, you just have to sell it to one person from whom You are going to take 10,000 rupees. 10 लोगों से बात करके एक पर्सन आपको 10,000 रुपए देता है. तो what happens is आपका बैच साइज मैंने 20 नहीं लिया, I just taking it as 12 people, right? तो 10,000 rupees का 12 people यानी कि 1,20,000 rupees is the revenue. एक्सपेंस कितना था? 24,000 रुपीज आपका फूड में चला जाएगा, बिकॉज 2,000 रुपीज एज ए कैलकुलेटेड फॉर किट एंड एवरीथिंग. 2,000 into 12 people, that's 24,000. Digital marketing ka I've taken it as 200 leads you have to generate to. I'm calculating on the basis of that you have to generate 200 leads for 60 rupees and you will get 12 people out of it. So 200 people who are interested, you are only getting 12 people, right? So 12,000 rupees after your digital marketing expense and miscellaneous 4,000, so 40,000 rupees the expense. And 1,20,000 में से आप 40,000 rupees minus कर देते तो 80,000 rupees the profit. When you conduct a live workshop at the venue, this is the thing. So this is the format, whether there's a COVID or there's no COVID. In both the cases, it's going to give you the benefit. COVID nahi hai, you conduct live workshop. COVID hai, you conduct online workshop. There's no problem. Now, there are a lot of people who may have a price barrier. They said, I can't conduct the workshop for this thing. No? You can conduct an online workshop for them. I'll come to that. दूसरा है केस 7,000 rupees. 7,000 rupees में if you keep it, तो आपका profit जो होता है 65,000 है. So when you charge 10,000 rupees, you get a profit of 80,000. When you charge 7,000 rupees, you get a profit of 65,000, right? This is the thing. And this is pure profit. I've taken all the cost out. Every cost has been taken care of, right? This is the thing. So 15 लोग इसमें आप करते हो, इसमें 12,000 rupees में आप, sorry, 10,000 rupees में 12 लोग करते हो, right? Okay. Now, sorry. So now let's talk about the online. Now, online के लिए the best part is you don't require a separate data. What happens is the people to whom you have convinced about it, they like the concept, but they somewhere felt 10,000 rupees I don't want to spend right now. It's not that they won't be. Out of 10 people, you have only closed one person. Out of 10 people that you spoke to, you only converted one person. But 9 people have not taken that. So those 9 people, you are able to convince at least 1 or 2 people for the online workshop where you charge 3,500 and without investing on digital marketing, because you've already got the data. The people who were being convinced about it, now you say, you're not conducting, no worries, we are conducting an online batch. It is just 3,500 rupees. उसमें उनको करवा दो enroll. तो उसमें 15 लोग आपके आते हैं तो 52,000 rupees, 500 rupees आपका यहाँ बनता है. So you make a profit of 52,500. So total profit that you're able to get it is 2,12,500. And trust me, this is not the Excel sheet profit. This is not the book profit. This is something we did not once, not twice, time and again. Though it's a different story, I'm a good convincing, I'm able to convince very well over the telephone. But at the same time, that's the skill that anybody, I can guarantee, that can be taken by anybody. Because later on what I did was, I kept my team. I used to generate the inquiry. I hired the people, trained them. And every week, they used to convert at least 4 people. So if 15,000 नहीं तो 14,000 के लिए 4 people को convince कर दिया, and even if the telecaller is charging a fees of 20,000-25,000 or 30,000 rupees also, you are done with 2 customers. You have taken out her salary for 2 months. Otherwise, who would call? So I'm not saying you continue to keep on becoming a telecaller. It's the model that you have to create that business, to scale up that business. First, you have to do it yourself and then give it to the people. And the best part is for the people who are into the job, they only have Saturday, Sundays. Even they can do it, right? You can start with the calling, doing it during the evening. And once you set up the model, hire somebody, train them. And then you're done. Then you would be able to actually do it very well. You're able to scale up. Why one place? You can conduct the, why two workshops every month? You can do it even 4 workshops every month, every Saturday, Sunday. Let's be ambitious about it. But first, let's start. That is the idea. Okay. So I hope it's making sense for you. I mean, to get Facebook leads, campaign, email and WhatsApp, तो 200 lead चाहिए आपको 10 close करने के लिए. This is my idea, minimum. So far, I just want to understand, is it making sense for you? I mean, I just want to have a feedback from you. Are you liking it? Are you able to connect with it? Do you think it's something you really wish to do it? Yeah. So Sanjay liked it. That's nice, Sanjay. Manali, great. Elaborate, nice. Lakshmi, definitely, Lakshmi, I'm there to support you any point of time. And you're already a part of us. Looking good. Yes, Bala, it is great. Romana, yes. Sounds good. Yes, we need to, Eunice, we need to prepare ourselves. Yes. Gautam, yes. Great. Lovely. Thank you so much. Thanks for your feedback. Now the best thing is like let me help you understand. It's a step-by-step process to set up the Midbrain Activation Academy with your own brand. And how can you do that is 14 step process है ये 14 step process में काफी चीजें तो common है ना जैसे for example acquire knowledge and music आपको you need to understand about the complete product knowledge कि कैसे होता है what is the format of the workshop how do you interact with the people how do you make them mingle what is the icebreaker how do you introduce themselves how do you conduct the theater activity or do you want to conduct or is there anything else that you can conduct so acquiring knowledge about the complete workshop and music therapy so that is what exactly is the training that you require kitna music which music to play how much music to play like how long what should be the duration of it what if the child doesn't sleep all that stuff book domain name if you're not into the business at all you need to have a brand create logo, make PPTs, right? In our case, we are giving you the PPTs when we do that. Pricing and packaging of the product, which price per you would like to start it. Create workshop flow time-wise. Time-wise, you have to create a workshop flow when the video will appear, how much time for the games, how much time for the dance, how much time for the yoga, how much time for the meditation, how much time for the music, what time should you be having lunch, create payment gateway, create campaign image. So and then write campaign copy, learn how to create Facebook lead generation campaign, create, publish and monitor the campaign, create converting sales script because sales script सबसे important होती है मेरे हिसाब से सबसे बड़ा element sales script होता है. When you talk to the person, you should be able to convince, right? And learn to convert leads to customer and deliver the workshop. This is what exactly is the complete thing. It sounds like so much of work, but once you do it with a passion, you just do it. You enjoy doing that, right? Okay. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Sanjay, I would love to do it, but at this platform, it will be a little difficult. Therefore, I just showed you the glimpse of it, right? Okay. So don't reinvent the wheel is what I say. We have already done it so many times. So let's kind of a partner. So let me help you to do this. So now, do you want to set up your Midbrain Activation Academy? I want you to comment my academy, MA. If you quickly comment MA onto the chat window, I would get an energy to understand that Sanjay is interested, Lakshmi Srinivas is interested, and that gives me an energy. So many. Sushil, Maria, Suma, Philip. Great energy. Thank you so much, Arvind, because Jace, Pradika, Fadhya, right? Rahul, Prachi Singhal, nice. Really lovely. And I'm so thankful because I require an energy from you. And trust me, this is very close to my heart. And this is beyond business. Actually speaking, this is beyond business. This was successful hone hai, maza aata hai, right? So,
hello friends.
This is one of my favorite.
I'm a banker by profession. And I was introduced to this concept of entrepreneurship, not by me, but by my wife. She was the one who started off on this whole journey because she is a QMAT teacher, and she said this is something which is gelling well with what she's doing. So I started evaluating it, and trust me, I was not initially so very happy about it. In fact, I openly told this to Rajul Srivatsava, and he said, "Don't worry about it. Only today you've bought it. Don't worry about it. You attend the first session, but prior to that, just a request: you go through the first 4 days of the sessions, and then you come to the session." So we had 2 days time. By then, I had done all the initial homework which she had given me. As I did that, trust me, it was giving me the kind of hope and confidence that I wanted to get. And when I attended the first session, I had a few doubts and clarifications, which Rajul gladly clarified. And the best part about the first 4 days was every place he was putting the entire session from our point of view. It was not like a session, like lecture where we have to take. It was from our point of view, wherein we move from an employee to an employer mindset. That was clearly taken care of. And every session had some takeaway in the sense how we start imparting it to other people. That angle was also covered. And by the end of 30 days, we had covered not only the core of what we will be taking up as a business, but every aspect of business that was needed, it was there. In the sense, starting from creation of your logo, company naming, domain creation, how we can host it in Bluehost, and your lead creation, how you can do the call, scripting, your Facebook ads that we needed. Everything was taken care of, including the way you start off on the first day. So end to end, it is all a complete handholding. I had lots of doubts in between, and Rajul was gladly ready to support any point in time. This 30 days, it's all just 30 days. Ardently put in the effort that is required. You will be taking up the plunge, and trust me, Rajul Srivatsava is there as our float until we start floating from our side, right? Until we start swimming, he's there to take care of us. Trust him and then go with it. You will definitely bang on success. There is absolutely no way this cannot be a successful entrepreneurship. Trust me, this has helped immensely from where I was a month ago to what I am now. So this is going to be an extremely successful journey. Take the plunge and then you will see you are able to swim. Until we sit in the shore and start looking at it, it is not going to be much meaningful. You just take the plunge, as I said, you take the plunge. There is a float in the form of Rajul Srivatsava, which will guide us through until we know a full-fledged swimming. So no doubt about it. Go with it. You will be successful. All the best, friends. Thank you.
All right, so let me give you a proposal now, and the people who are interested, and as you've shown the interest, and that gave me the energy. So let me help you to understand how I can assist you. I mean, the two ways you can go on your own, and second ways I can give you a plug and play opportunity, right? I'll give you a midbrain activation music therapy for kids, locked to one system primarily, which is like a window-based laptop you would require, where that will be locked to one system, right? And you can conduct any number of workshops through that, right? And that is there for the lifetime. Complete 9-step process training. I was talking about a 9-step process, if you remember. Did you remember?
Hello, friends.
So give me a moment. Please. Abaji, I think you're not on mute, right? So, okay. Okay, so anyway, so I was talking about a 9-step process that will be coming to know that what is the format of the workshop and follow-up PPTs with videos, that is 7 in number. So you on day first, you have 2 PPTs, pre-lunch and post-lunch. Day 2, you have 2 PPTs, pre-lunch and post-lunch. Then you have 3 PPTs for follow-up, right? So though I have already given it to you and I would be doing constant upgradation on that, and because, you know, there are a lot of latest numbers which comes in for dancing for the people and all. So they want that. And you can just put it whatever that you like it. I'll give you a complete structure along with the timing so that you know this. What is the workshop timing? Kab lunch karna hai, kab kaun sa play karna hai, kitni der ka video hona chahiye, and all this stuff, right? Facebook campaign resources, like when you have to run a campaign, if I've seen one thing in my life. I have a lot of people who are into who are my clients and who are basically taken my programs. But there are 2 categories of people who are successful and people who are not. What really makes that difference is the people who successfully run the Facebook campaigns, they go to the next level because they constantly get the inquiry. And there are people who don't even attempt that. Or there are people who don't even start because for them, they feel it's an expense. And absolutely, I say it's not an expense. It's an investment because only if you invest, that will give you money. See, I don't have any commission with the Facebook guys. You are doing that directly with them. But the idea is, why I always say is because if you don't have the interested people, whom would you call? Whom would you convince? And the easiest and the cheapest way today is the Facebook lead generation. Not even conversion campaign, not even webinar campaigns. That put a lot of money to actually like put together one webinar. Important is go for the lead generation campaign. Call them and convince them. Maximum that you require, you can just put in one landing page. That will become a little easy for you to do it, right? So, but Facebook campaign you must do. And you require good images for that and a good copy for that. That 3 copies I'm going to give it to you, images also and the copy, right? In next 10 to 15 days, I'll provide you that in the e-kit, okay? Tutorial on Facebook कि उसको कैसे run करना and we come on online and just check it if it's the right campaign. PPT and tutorial on how to conduct seminar on parenting, sales script, training dashboard for 1 year and mentoring for 1 year. Now, training dashboard means like, the complete training will happen on a learning management system. There's a dashboard that we have it. On that particular day, there's like, we have a different things for different things. So you have to just go through it. And that will basically help you to basically march ahead onto your business. So Midbrain Activation is a very different business. Like it's not too much to learn for that matter, but you just require a little bit of confidence. So once you go through it, it will happen. And once we have got a substantial people, I'll also conduct a live online workshop. A live online workshop. See, I really wanted to conduct an offline workshop for everybody because I feel when Midbrain Activation, I can conduct a live workshop also online so that you can start your processes, right? And maybe tomorrow, later on, like, if there are enough people who are interested to come down to Delhi and, or maybe Rishikesh for that matter, I can organize there. And we can just have a residential workshop for 2 days. And I can activate your Midbrains. And at the same time, I can give you a business workshop completely for 2 days. Is the idea, but that will be a second step. First step will be to join this and let me train you on through the dashboard. And plus, I will also conduct some, like one session for 2-3 hours so that I can give you further more insight about it. So you're completely confident on that, right? So this is what, and mentoring is there. The people who are associated, they know about my mentoring, right? Okay, thank you so much for this. So on making a payment instantly, you'll get the primary mail, you'll get the payment receipt. Your Midbrain activation dashboard will be activated within 1 hour's time normally. And you will also get the music frequencies within 4 hours. Generally, you get it in 1.5 hours, but I'm just taking it as 4 hours, right? So this is what it is. So complete thing that you require, I mean to say, to run and conduct this beautiful workshop will be provided to you. So what are you going to get? Okay. So this is something now I'm going to be talking about it. First is you are going to get the music frequency. Now I can tell you, you want to Google it, right? I can tell you. When you talk about a real authentic music frequency, the market rate is 25,000 even today. It is available for 25,000. People just give you music frequency. What is the USP of mine or us, the people who are associated would realize and would agree, I guess, right? That I just don't provide product. There are instances, you'll get, like take 50,000, 40,000 rupees, you get 40 products. And even I bought it at times, but I realized you don't do anything with the products. Actually, it's one product is good enough. If you focus on that product and make it have a complete journey for you, it's just not one thing. It's product, it's the training on those products, is the packaging of that product, is the delivery of that product, is that how do you market, what should be the campaign. So when you have to give, don't give half. छोले के साथ भटूरे दे सकते हैं ना, छोले के साथ सांबर नहीं, भटूरे के साथ सांबर नहीं मिलेगा, right? Or सांबर के साथ you can't get it. I mean, it's something like you can't have a wrong mixing. You need to have the right mixing. You need to have a complete funnel starting from product, being trained on those product, then packaging those product, pricing on those product, campaigning, generating lead, script, what to call, what to convince upon, and then finally delivery of the thing. ये पूरा जब होगा तब आपको confidence आता है, otherwise you don't get. And we offer you that. Music frequency, I'm going to give it to you worth rupees 25,000. 9-step process that I talked about it, worth rupees 10,000, I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to give you all the PPTs, and it takes a lot of time to develop the PPTs. So workshop PPT is 15,000 rupees. You will get timings. उसको कैसे कैसे timing करना है वो पूरा scheduling. You will get it for 2,000 rupees. And then you have a Facebook की जो images and creatives बनाने हैं. See, it is just not कि एक बना के आपको दे दिया. it is something which is, like which works. See, if you have 10 creatives, not all of them perform. There's only one or two creative which are liked by the audience. Rest, it's like an experiment, it goes on to that. Similarly, when you talk about a specific copy, what you write to get the client, not all the copies are something. Sometimes you feel this is a great copy, but it doesn't work, it doesn't appeal the people. So I'm talking about the right copies and the right which has worked for us. So I'll give you that which has really worked for us, right? So that is what I'm going to give it to you. And then add campaign. Once you'll set up the campaign, I'll help you to understand that. And give me a moment again. Right. Then 5,000 ka, this is the value of that product, and the value of the product of parenting webinar, how to conduct the parenting webinar, uska tutorial hai, plus sales script as I was talking about it. Then I'm going to give you a dashboard for 1 year's time. And for this 1 year's time, you can approach and access that unlimited time. You won't require for that long. You just do it once or twice and that's being done. But I'm giving you that access. And then finally, it's the mentoring. When I say mentoring, which means to make you successful, whatever thing, you have to walk the path, you have to walk the road, but then I would help you in that, right? This is the complete thing and this is worth rupees. And truly, I'm telling you, this is worth rupees, 1 lakh rupees. Total value of this product is 1 lakh rupees, but that's not the price that we have kept it for you. The price that I've kept it for you, the investment is not 1 lakh rupees. In fact, the total investment is 12,500 plus GST and a convenience fees which comes in. So in totality, it works out to be, when you actually go for it, the complete thing, you get it for 15,275. All right, so this is what it is. For the people who want to join in, can join in. And there's a bonus as well that I'm going to give it to you because people would like to have a bonus. So it is not only the Midbrain Activation Workshop that you can conduct. I'm also giving you a music frequency for a Midbrain Activation for adult. So the kids whose midbrains are being activated, their parents, you don't have to really invest separately a money on them. But there, if you have conducted 2-3 batches, you can create one batch every, maybe like, every 2 months for the parents whose kids midbrain were being activated. You can not only activate the midbrain, but can add a couple of things, and like teach them, right? So I would be giving them the music only. I will not be giving you a complete workshop flow. Workshop flow and everything, the PPTs, everything, I'm giving it to you for adults, for the kids. And the music frequency is something that I'm going to give you. And plus I will be guiding you on that, right? Okay, so total thing that you are going to get it, Lakshmi, you can get it as a certificate as a trainer. That's not a problem. I can give it to you. But then ultimately, these certificates are a eyewash, frankly speaking, because there's no certifying body, So if there's no certifying body, my certificate would just be a happy certificate for you, feel good factor. If you want it, I'll give you. There's no problem. But practically speaking, these certificate, nobody asks and nobody works, right? I mean, I have conducted so many workshops, nobody has ever taken it, right? Nobody has demanded, you show me the certificates for this. Forget about this, even for career counseling, nobody has asked me, right? So this is in our mind. But yeah, if you want it, I can give it to you. So this is total value of 1,12,000 rupees, 10,000 rupees for a price of practically, it'll work out to be 15,275 rupees. And so how to book is primarily when you just click that link, there's a window that opens up. You have to fill up your information and there was the QR code. You can just scan the QR code and pay. Second is you have an option of credit card, debit card, net banking, EMI and NEFT. The certain people who are interested in the EMI, it is only on the credit card of ICICI Bank, credit card of Axis Bank, credit card of Stanchart, Kotak Mahindra, HSBC, Yes Bank, Indus Bank, RBL Bank and Bank of India. So you can avail an EMI of 3 months, 6 months, 9 months or 12 months. Though I think it is not a very major amount and it is much, much, much lesser than any market price. And you're just not getting the music, you're getting a complete thing, right? Now coming to the, so the people who doesn't have a complete thing, they can pay 4,750 rupees as a booking amount, and you can Paytm me on particular number, my number, phone pay, Google Pay or Paytm, and can pay the balance in 5 days time. But the kit will be delivered to you after the complete payment is